This week's dealer sales training film is from Plymouth via Roy Ross and points out the benefits of the 1953 Plymouth over the Chevrolet. They make some great points, and Plymouth always made sure you had room to wear your hat in the car, so seating is spacious. The Plymouth Cranbrook model was the renamed Special Deluxe, starting in '51. The name Cranbrook may have been taken from a city in British Columbia, but it may also have been taken from Cranbrook Drive in Detroit near the main Dodge plant. The '53 Plymouth would help keep Buick and Pontiac at bay for another 2 years. Buick would squeak past Plymouth sales figures in '55 to '56, only to be beaten back with the '57 Plymouth. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more if you like the content, and mid-film advertisements are currently off for your convenience. Thanks for watching, and enjoy.
There's an old saying that claims you can't judge a book by its cover. And that idea holds true in business, except that the wording might be changed. We could say you can't judge value by the price tag. And that could apply to just about any product you'd care to name. Let's take shoes as a typical example. Here are 3 pairs of shoes. One pair is priced at $15, one at $18, and the other at $20. Yet just by looking at them, you'd have a little trouble telling which pair is the most expensive of the 3, wouldn't you? And it might be even more difficult for you to tell why one pair costs a third more than one of the others. But if you were trying to decide which of the 3 pairs to buy, you'd want to know the difference between them and what you'd get for your money. Now, suppose you learn that these shoes would be more comfortable than the others because they're made to fit better, to give better support. That you could expect far more wear and better appearance because their prime top leather is cut to hold their shape longer. And that of all 3 pairs, the soles of these shoes won't get out of shape, won't crack, will stand up in all kinds of weather because they're specially tanned and treated. Now, after you had been told all this, you'd have good reason to believe that this pair of shoes, the most expensive pair, costing $20, represents the greatest value because it offers you more for your money. The big point here, however, is that to be appreciated, value must be explained, pointed out. It isn't something that is immediately recognized. And this holds true particularly in the purchase of a new automobile, where much of the real worth, the full value, is designed and engineered into the car. To show you what I mean, suppose we compare the new Plymouth Cranbrook and Chevrolet Bel Air 4-door sedans. And on the basis of what we find, you be the judge of which one offers the most value. Let's look first at Plymouth with its many improvements inside and out. For instance, take Plymouth styling, which is more than appearance improvement alone. Each change serves a practical function. Those front fender ribs, for example, not only add attractiveness, but they contribute to Plymouth's front end strength and rigidity. Chevrolet, on the other hand, follows a more conventional design approach, and one that's not as effective in structural strength or rigidity. Notice the fender moldings. Mounted on the flat fender surface, they are merely decorative and serve no practical function. Now, at the Plymouth rear, you see distinctively contoured ribbed fenders, just like in front, and a flanged sill panel. This design provides beauty and strength. Even the wheel openings for all 4 Plymouth fenders are flared for sturdier construction. At the rear of the Chevrolet, you see more of the conventional approach in body design, one which appears to lack the ruggedness of Plymouth's design. Here's a Plymouth design feature that many people like. Plymouth parking lights, directly under the headlights, indicate the width of the car more clearly to oncoming traffic. Chevrolet lights inside the grille are in a less desirable location. In driving visibility, Plymouth offers a distinct advantage. That's largely because of its deeper windshield and higher driver's seat. But in addition, Plymouth features a lower, more compact hood and fender area that gives the driver a better view of the road. In contrast, Chevrolet has a high, bulky hood, which forms more of an obstruction to the driver's vision. Also, Plymouth windows are deeper and wider than Chevrolet's. So adding all visibility advantages together, more compact hood, higher seats, deeper windshield, deeper and wider windows, you find that the Plymouth driver and passengers get a definite plus. Here's another place where Plymouth passengers get a better break. At the rear door, Plymouth provides far easier get-in and get-out ability. For one thing, Plymouth's rear door opening is a full 2 inches higher than Chevrolet's. And what's more, Plymouth engineers have put the greatest width at shoulder level, where passengers appreciate it the most. Now, if this lady in the large sun hat tried to enter the rear door of a Chevrolet, you see what would happen? Plymouth has 3 inches more entering space at shoulder level than Chevrolet. A new styling advantage that's really practical. Now, look what happens once the Plymouth driver gets in and sits down. Actually, Plymouth, a lower car than Chevrolet, gives more front headroom. In addition, Plymouth provides higher, more comfortable seats. And here's something else. The Plymouth driver has more legroom than he'd find in a Chevrolet, and enough space between belt buckle and steering wheel to be really comfortable. Here's a Plymouth convenience feature for the driver. It's the pull lever front seat adjustment. Notice how easy it is to grasp. It's just as easy to operate, too. A gentle lift releases the catch. Chevrolet's push-button front seat adjustment requires strong downward pressure with a thumb. Women drivers especially will find its operation somewhat difficult. The Plymouth rear seat is more than 2 inches higher than Chevrolet, and yet headroom in the rear compartment of both cars is about equal. This, added to Plymouth's greater legroom, makes it definitely more comfortable. On this subject of comfort and convenience, here's an important Plymouth exclusive you'll find in all 2-door models. The front seat back is divided at a point 1/3 of the way across. Now, this entirely new arrangement permits rear seat passengers to get in and out without disturbing the front seat passenger. Also, with 3 people in front, there is full, unbroken back support for each passenger. Chevrolet, on the other hand, continues to use the conventional 50-50 split in the seat back. Now, let's get back to Plymouth convenience pluses that apply to all models. Plymouth's pull-to-open outside door handles are easier to use than Chevrolet's. They combine a natural full-hand grip and easy leverage. Besides that, Plymouth's rotary door latches provide quieter, more positive closing. Outside door handles on the Chevrolet are the push-button type. They require thumb pressure plus pulling action. In addition, Chevrolet continues to use a less effective bolt and striker latch. You'll notice a similar Plymouth advantage in the T-handle on the luggage compartment lid. It permits a full hand grip for operating the latch and for opening or closing the counterbalanced lid. On Chevrolet, the full strain of operating the luggage compartment lid latch is placed on the key itself. Also, the auxiliary finger grip for lifting and lowering the lid appears to be less practical, less convenient than the Plymouth's T-handle. And there you have an indication of why balanced design offers more value to Plymouth owners. More headroom, higher seats, extra legroom, and all this in a body that's more compact than Chevrolet's. But that's not the whole story. Plymouth, with its compact overall size, plus its better visibility, is a far easier car to handle in traffic, and you can park it with room to spare. But of even greater importance is the outstanding ride, the truly balanced ride, which Plymouth has engineered into this all-new car. Here is a feature which remains unchallenged in the low-price field. Now, as soon as the operator turns the record, we'll see just what the engineers did to make this outstanding ride possible and how it compares with Chevrolet's ride. Putting the right weight in the right places is a sure way of getting good results. And putting the right weight in exactly the right places for a steady, comfortable road-hugging ride is what the engineers did to the new Plymouth. They started from scratch with a brand new frame. And while they maintained the same length as the previous frame, they made it 6 inches wider. Then they moved the rear axle 4.5 inches forward, giving a new wheelbase of 114 inches. But they didn't move the springs forward, just the axle. However, by moving the rear axle 4.5 inches forward, they literally killed 2 birds with 1 stone. First, this new position places more of the car's weight back of the rear axle, where it becomes an important balance factor in maintaining a steady ride. The effect is similar to putting a sandbag in the trunk of a conventionally designed car to hold down the rear end. Secondly, this new position gives Plymouth a new wheelbase length that adds substantially to the car's maneuverability and greater ease of handling, and without sacrificing interior roominess. At the other end of the frame, another change for better weight distribution was made. The Plymouth engine was moved 2 inches forward. Another factor contributing to a more comfortable ride is Plymouth's softer, 2-inch wide, 5-leaf rear springs. And adding further to greater ride stability is the brand new splay mounting, which places the rear ends of the springs farther apart than the front ends. A marked improvement in handling on turns and curves resulted from Plymouth's new control arm arrangement in the front suspension. Coupled with the sway bar, this suspension setup resists the natural tendency of a car to tilt on turns. Of course, no description of Plymouth's balanced ride would be complete without including the famous Oriflow shock absorbers. They complete a ride combination that cars like Chevrolet can't touch, and for several reasons. For example, Chevrolet uses 7-leaf rear springs, which are shorter and narrower than Plymouth's. As such, their springs do not contribute as much to rear-end stability. What's more, Chevrolet continues to use the conventional type of rear spring mounting, thereby losing the added stability advantage of Plymouth's splay mounting. Plymouth also provides additional space for spring and wheel travel before the limit bumpers engage. Commonly called jounce space, it is absolutely essential to a good ride on rough roads. On Chevrolet, the jounce space is much more restricted. That means less protection against uncomfortable bottoming. As a matter of fact, in the front suspension, Plymouth has twice as much jounce space for unrestricted soft spring action, plus far greater protection against road shocks and possible suspension breakage. And of course, Chevrolet still uses ordinary valve-type shock absorbers. That, plus the restricted jounce space, allows bottoming and pitching on bumps that Plymouth can easily handle. Naturally, good seating is basic to riding comfort. Plymouth again offers chair height seats to furnish the utmost and comfortable correct posture. In addition, Plymouth seats have unmatched cushioning qualities. That's due to their full coil spring construction, both front and rear in seat backs as well as cushions. These coils give uniform, fully cushioned support for easy chair comfort. Chevrolet seats, in addition to being lower, have shallow platform-type zigzag springs in seats and seat backs. This combination falls far short of Plymouth's proper cushion support, in our opinion. Now, let's consider safety and performance features of these two cars. For example, Plymouth features safeguard hydraulic brakes with balanced braking action. At the front wheels, where most of the braking load is carried, each brake has 2 cylinders and 2 opposed anchors for smooth, positive control. Chevrolet's servo-type brakes, by comparison, have only 1 cylinder and 1 anchor point for each pair of brake shoes. With this arrangement, Chevrolet braking action tends to be less predictable, and lining wear is apt to be uneven. But you might ask, what about Chevrolet's claim of bigger brakes? Bigger brake drums, yes, but braking efficiency is not determined by mere brake drum size. A better measure of braking efficiency is based upon the square inch area of brake lining per 1,000 pounds of car weight. And that's where Plymouth holds the advantage. You see, Plymouth has over 8% more brake lining area per 1,000 pounds of car weight than Chevrolet. Another Plymouth advantage is found in the independent parking brake, which operates on the propeller shaft. That, in effect, gives the Plymouth owner two separate brake systems for extra safety. Chevrolet lacks this reserve braking because the handbrake merely sets the rear wheel service brakes. As such, its effectiveness depends on the condition of the service brakes. The extra safety and extra value you find only in Plymouth also comes from features like safety rim wheels. They make it far easier for the driver to guide the car safely in case of a blowout, an added peace of mind benefit that Chevrolet does not offer. Exceptional engine protection is afforded by Plymouth's plated aluminum alloy pistons, each with a chrome-plated top ring. They cut down the possibility of cylinder wall scuffing. Thus, they contribute greatly to long, trouble-free engine operation. Chevrolet's standard engine still uses heavy cast iron piston material and does not provide a chrome-plated top compression ring. And this brings out an interesting fact that points up Plymouth's outstanding value. Every Plymouth engine has aluminum alloy pistons. Every Plymouth engine has precision-type connecting rod bearings and full-pressure lubrication. Chevrolet, however, has reserved these items exclusively for their higher-rated engine, available only as part of the Power Glide option at extra cost. And even then, the Chevrolet owner does not get the extra engine protection of Plymouth's exhaust valve seat inserts, which resist the burning and pitting action of exhaust gases. Nor does he get an engine protection feature that can match Plymouth's oil-light fuel filter in the fuel tank. This filters the fuel before it enters the line. Also, Chevrolet has nothing like Plymouth's floating oil intake, which draws only the cleanest oil from just beneath the surface of the oil in the crankcase. In addition, comparable items to Plymouth's oil bath air cleaner and oil filter, standard on all Cranbrook models, can only be secured at extra cost on Chevrolet. Now, in addition to these engine value features, two other value extras that Plymouth owners really appreciate are the cowl ventilator and rear vent windows for comfortable hot weather driving. Neither feature is available on the Chevrolet at any price. Plymouth offers constant speed, electrically operated windshield wipers as standard equipment. They provide clean sweeping, steady, dependable wiping action regardless of engine speed. Chevrolet's wipers still operate off engine vacuum. That's why they sometimes slow up or quit when they're needed the most, on acceleration while passing or climbing a hill. And no matter what the weather, Plymouth owners can count on long-lasting body beauty and added protection. That's because Plymouth uses a durable, easy-to-maintain baked enamel finish. In contrast, Chevrolet uses a lacquer finish that calls for frequent polishing and waxing. Said another way, Plymouth is tops in value no matter how you look at it. In sound functional styling, in riding comfort, Plymouth offers more of what the new car buyer wants. And in overall engineering, Plymouth is the leader in its field. Furthermore, on the basis of economical performance, Plymouth has a record of lowest cost per mile of operation as proved by thousands of taxicab companies all over the country. Yes, when compared with Chevrolet, the new Plymouth is still first in comfort, in safety, in economy, in all-around performance, and first by far with a balanced ride. Those are facts, facts which prove that value is more than skin deep. And that's why today, as always, the all-new Plymouth, the most truly balanced car, is the real top value buy in the low-price field.